She looked straight into the camera, tears streaming down her face, begging for justice after her husband was brutally murdered in a home invasion. The video went viral, breaking the hearts of millions overnight. But within just 6 hours, local detectives uncovered a dark, twisted secret hidden right beneath those tears. This wasn't a robbery gone wrong. This was a cold-blooded, calculated execution planned by the one person he trusted most. Stick around because this story starts with a forced teenage marriage and ends in an unforgivable nightmare. Before we dive into the dark truth, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a story.
It was April 7, 2026. The setting was the quiet, rural town of Oak Creek in Richland County, Ohio. In the dead of night, the eerie silence was shattered by the blood-curdling screams of a terrified woman. Neighbors woke up in a panic and rushed toward the sound to help. When they burst into the house, they found a young woman tied up in one room, crying hysterically. In the master bedroom next door, her husband was lying in a massive pool of blood. By morning, a raw, heartbreaking video of the grieving widow explaining the incident went viral across the internet. Social media users demanded immediate justice. But as the police began their investigation, it took them just 6 hours to tear down her fragile web of lies and reveal a truth that sent chills down the spine of the entire nation. The victim was Devin Vance, a 28-year-old local businessman. Devin was a quiet, hardworking man who ran a successful organic spice and seasoning business. Through sheer grit and hustle, he had built a great reputation in the county and was making a comfortable living. He lived in a cozy suburban home with his elderly mother, Martha, and his 25-year-old wife, Amber Vance. On the evening of April 7th, Devin returned home from work, had dinner with his family, and everyone went to bed. Devin's mother and his sister, Chloe, who was visiting, slept in the back guest room, while Devin and Amber retired to the master bedroom. Around 2 a.m., a terrifying scream echoed through the house. Chloe and Martha rushed out of their room, while worried neighbors pounded on the front door. Inside, they found Amber lying on the floor of a spare room. Her hands and feet were tightly bound behind her back with heavy-duty zip ties. Once the neighbors cut the ties, a shaking Amber told a horrifying tale. She claimed 3 or 4 masked intruders had forced their way into the house demanding cash and jewelry. She said Devin bravely fought back to protect her, sparking a violent struggle. The robbers allegedly dragged her into the spare room, tied her up, and threatened to execute Devin if she made a sound. She claimed she stayed silent for 30 minutes out of pure terror until she was certain they had fled with $3,000 worth of jewelry and $50 cash. When the neighbors rushed into the master bedroom, the room was completely ransacked and Devin lay motionless on the bed with a fatal wound to the head.
By 4 a.m., the Richland County Sheriff's Department, led by lead detective Mark Avery, arrived at the scene alongside forensic teams and canine units. As Detective Avery and his team analyzed the crime scene, Amber's story began to fall apart with alarming speed because the forensic reality completely contradicted her claims. While Amber claimed 3 to 4 armed men forced their way into the house, the investigators found absolutely zero signs of forced entry, with no broken locks, shattered windows, or damaged door frames. Amber also insisted that Devin had fought desperately against the intruders, but the autopsy report revealed that Devin had no defensive wounds or signs of a struggle whatsoever. Furthermore, instead of a chaotic beating by multiple attackers, the medical examiner found that Devin was killed by a single, clean, highly precise strike to the forehead with a sharp hatchet while he was fast asleep. The final blow to her story came when police dogs led detectives to a hidden compartment in a closet, where all the supposedly stolen jewelry was found safely tucked away.
Wow, the story has taken a really interesting turn now. What do you think will happen next? If you are learning something new from this story, please give this video a like right now and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Without wasting any time, let's listen carefully to what happened next.
The final nail in the coffin came from Amber's phone records. She claimed the robbers had stolen her phone, but digital forensics tracked her GPS history and found that her phone was active at the house the entire night. Even worse, her call logs revealed hundreds of secret messages and calls to a man named Kalen Ross, including a conversation right before the murder took place. Kalen Ross was a married man with 2 kids and a distant acquaintance of Devin's family. Detectives brought Amber into the interrogation room, and when Detective Avery casually dropped Kalen's name, Amber's face went pale. She broke down completely and confessed to a sinister plot born out of a forced childhood arrangement. As it turned out, Amber and Devin had been legally married in an arranged, conservative family agreement when they were just 15 years old. Per their family's traditions, They didn't live together right away, and Amber only moved into Devon's house 3 years ago when she turned 22. But by then, her heart belonged to someone else. At 17, she had met Kaylin Ross, and they began a passionate, secret affair. When she was forced to move in with Devon, she grew to resent him. Amber loved social media, creating TikToks and living a flashy lifestyle, whereas Devon was a simple, grounded guy who preferred a quiet life. Amber would constantly mock him, telling him that he was plain while she was beautiful, and that she deserved someone better because she was forced into the marriage. Desperate to be with Kaylin permanently, Amber asked Devon for a divorce, but family pressure stalled the process. That was when a dark thought crossed her mind. If Devon was dead, she would inherit his wealth and be free to marry Kaylin. Amber proposed the murder to Kaylin, who eagerly agreed. Kaylin hired a local criminal named Shane Vance, offering him $10,000 to commit the murder. Amber paid a $5,000 advance using cash she had secretly skimmed from Devon's business. For weeks, Amber intentionally left the back door unlocked at night so the hitman could study the house layout. On the night of April 7th, once Devon fell asleep, Amber texted Kaylin to confirm that Devon was asleep and the door was open. Shane Vance slipped through the back door, walked into the bedroom, and struck a sleeping Devon with a hatchet, killing him instantly. Afterward, Kaylin briefly entered the house, and together they staged the robbery, hid the jewelry, and tied Amber up with zip ties to give her an alibi. Amber then waited exactly 30 minutes to ensure they were far away before she started screaming for help. The brilliant work of the Richland County detectives exposed the plot in record time. On April 9, 2026, both Amber Vance and Kaylin Ross were formally arrested and charged with first-degree murder and conspiracy. They are currently behind bars awaiting trial without bail. The hitman, Shane Vance, fled the state and remains a wanted fugitive. The internet quickly turned on Amber, flooding her viral video with comments condemning her cruelty. Meanwhile, an innocent man lost his life, and a grieving mother is left to pick up the pieces of her broken family. What do you think is a fitting punishment for a betrayal this cold? Let me know in the comments below.
So friends, this was today's emotional love story. If you like this story, please like the video, share it to your friends and subscribe to my channel for more beautiful stories like this. Thank you so much for listening. See you soon in the next stories.